Hey gamers, welcome to Dits on Gaming, and it's kind of a debut here, but it's more of a relaunch. If you go back through my YouTube archives, you will see an episode 1 and an episode 2 of Dits on Gaming. Both legit stuff. Go back, check it out. But that's old Dits. Project Dits is now here, and we're starting to build this brand up a little bit. And part of that is including Dits on Gaming within that. So we're hitting a relaunch, we're hitting reset, we're hitting reboot, and here we are. This is the final product here for episode 1. Yes, it's technically episode 3, but we're not forgetting the one we've done before, but we kind of are. We're hitting reset. It starts now. It starts now. Now, this is a video and audio podcast, so if you're watching on YouTube, hello, you can see me waving at you right now. But if you are listening on podcast applications, just the audio, then don't feel like you're disadvantaged, because you're not in any way. You will get this voice, this soothing voice, for however long this episode goes on for. You just won't get the visual pieces that go on behind me on this nice little overlay that I have created here. But it's really good to finally get into this. Wrestling is a big passion of mine. Dits on Wrestling is the flagship, if you will, of Project Dits, and probably that'll always probably be the case. It's the thing that brought me to the dance. So that's one of my big passions is wrestling. But gaming is a very, very close second. I don't get to play as many games these days as I would probably like to do. I'm now a dad. I've got a busy job. I'm of course married. It's one of those things. It's life. As you get older, I think if you are a big gamer and you settle down and stuff like that, gaming is one of the things that may fall by the wayside. But we always find ways to play games, and I definitely always find ways to keep up with things. And that is kind of what's going to fill out this episode a little bit with a feature piece. But I just want to talk about what to expect from this show going forward. I mean, before it was just going to be like a random mumbo jumbo of just anything. I think the episode 1 was my gaming history, which is actually not a bad episode to go back and watch, so you can kind of see how I've evolved through gaming since I first started on Sega Saturn all the way up to Xbox One. And I think the second episode was about remasters and stuff like that. So go back and check those out, because they are still canon. They're not part of this canon, but they are still in existence. So don't mug them off. They are still there, people. But going forward, I want to get guests on. I want to do live shows. I want to talk about just everything to do with gaming. I'm so passionate about this industry, and it's constantly getting better and better and better. And we are on the horizon. You can see it now. We are just a few months away from the next generation of consoles, and it's a very exciting time. And that is the feature piece of this episode, and it's going to be, has Xbox Series X fallen at the final hurdle? I have a lot to say on this. This on Gaming was going to debut a couple of weeks back, and I was going to talk about the Xbox Showcase, the Xbox Game Showcase. But unfortunately, I had to delay things a little bit, and I wasn't able to do it as soon as I like. But this is kind of going to feed into that a little bit, because it's all part and parcel of the state of Xbox Series X at the moment. Not that it's in a bad way, but just wait until we hit that feature, and we'll see what goes on there. But yeah, like I said, we're going to get guests on, just a sneak peek, I guess, of what's to come up. Omega Luke, if you've heard of him, then you are lucky. If not, then you are about to hear from him. He's a football manager streamer right here on YouTube, and he is very, very good at what he does. He is a guru of all things Football Manager, and he dabbles in other stuff as well, but Football Manager is that's his expertise, and he's very good at it. And we're also going to be joined by my Dits on Wrestling co-host, Anthony, and we're going to be taking a look at the Metal Gear Solid series, which I am really, really excited for. I love Metal Gear Solid. It only came up the other day when we were recording one of the Dits on Wrestling episodes, and we were just like, oh, you like Metal Gear? I like Metal Gear. Let's talk about it on my show. So that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks as well. So guests, that's the important thing. Guests are going to be appearing here, and hopefully in video form as well, so you don't just have this. Of course, sorry podcast listeners, you don't get to see my ugly mug, but I'm sure I'm going to be welcoming on beautiful people who you'll also not be able to see, but you guys on YouTube can, so yay. But I mean, the grand scheme of things, guys, I'm just glad that this is finally hitting the streets, because I've been sat on this for such a long time. I created like the video trailer, which is actually coincidentally the intro now to this, weeks ago, and I made that, and it hyped me up. Like I got hyped by my own video. I was like, yeah, it's like Dits on Gaming, let's do this, let's get into this. And yeah, it never happened. It never happened until now. Now is the time, now is the place, and hopefully it's not going to go the way the last Dits on Gaming's went, where it's separated by months. It was months before episode 1 and 2. This is hopefully going to be a weekly thing, and it's going to drop weekly on a Saturday, because Saturdays are free. Saturdays are weekends where you can chill out, enjoy your day, and listen to Dits on Gaming, or watch it. Because you have that luxury. You can do, whichever one you want to do. That's just the gift that I give to you guys. Options. I give you options. Now, before we get into the feature, I just want to, I always feel awkward doing this kind of stuff, but I did kind of promise it in my tiers within the site. Patreon. I am on Patron, just Patreon. I don't even know how to say that, damn. Is it Patron? Patreon? I don't know. Go to Patreon and search for Project Dits, and there I am. Check out the tiers that are available to you, all starting from $1 up to $5. So it's not, I'm not like $100 to see me strip. Would you pay that? Would you pay that? If you would pay that, I will do it. No, I won't do that, actually. You don't want to see this. But I've got tiers $1 to $5. And the $5 is the Project Dits Elite tier, offering exclusive video content, live streams, all that kind of stuff. And the ones before that, you get to kind of shape my content a little bit and see behind the scenes stuff as well. I recorded some behind the scenes stuff for Patron just before I started recording this, so you got access to a lot of stuff on there. And a big part of that is a shout out. So I have one patron at the moment since I've started the Project Dits thing and really honed in on it. That's Ozilution BJ. Thank you very much if you are watching this for being a patron to me. It's fantastic. I love it. I appreciate you so much. And you have access to some behind the scenes stuff with this episode, so enjoy that over on Patreon. And if you would like to see some behind the scenes stuff for this episode, then head over to Patreon, and I think it's just $2 for the behind the scenes stuff. So there you go. But now that's out of the way, let's get into the meat of the episode. So has Xbox Series X fallen at the final hurdle? That is something I've wanted to talk about for quite some time, because I honestly do feel like they have. And I just want to give you some background on this before we start talking about it. I am an Xbox guy through and through. I've had Xboxes since, the original Xbox. I've had every Xbox going, even the Pro versions. In fact, actually, no, I haven't had the Xbox One S. Fucking, these names and letters are all confusing. Why couldn't it just be PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5? So much easier instead of X's, S's, D's. I haven't had the white one, which I'm pretty sure is the S. But I'm an Xbox guy through and through. Not that I have anything against PlayStation. I'm not this, oh yeah, screw you, PlayStation, Xbox rules. I'm not that kind of guy. I just happen to like Xboxes. I like the controllers. I like the layout. It's what I'm used to. It's what I enjoy. Sue me. However, completing this background here, was the PS5 reveal back in, I want to say June. I might be wrong. Was it? It was either June or July. And I remember this vividly. I was sat at my kitchen counter eating a beautiful chicken curry from my local curry house. Amazing. So good. And I was watching the PS5 reveal. Not expecting anything made. I went in there with no expectations because I'm not a PlayStation guy. So I wasn't really going into it like, oh yeah, here we go. Like, I'm really excited. Here we go. This is. I was just satisfying my own curiosity. That's all I was doing because it was the console reveal and I wanted to see what it looked like. And I was blown away. I did a reaction video on YouTube for it, and you can go check that out. And I think I'm smiling throughout that whole. I loved it, and it's the first time since, well, ever, that I've ever questioned going back to PlayStation. I had a PlayStation 1 and a PlayStation 2. I love those consoles, two of my favorite consoles of all time. That's where it ended for me with Sony. And this is the first time where I kind of went, ooh, hang on a minute. I could be swayed. I could be tempted to go back to Sony here. Because at this stage, the Xbox Series X had been revealed. We knew what it looked like. Everyone said it looked like a fridge. I quite like the look of the Series X. I like the tower. I like the fact that it has the green light at the top and all that kind of stuff. Like I even did you can't see it. My TV is over there. I actually made the shelf there so it fit like between the shelf and where my TV is. I actually did it so the dimensions fit what the Series X is going to be. So I've prepped for the Series X. And Microsoft, for the most part, were winning this little console war. If it is a console war, let's be honest. There always is. And Microsoft have been winning for such a long time. They revealed the Series X. They said, look, I mean, they got the Game Pass, blah, blah, blah. They were straight out of the gates. This is it. This is what we're doing. This is how things are going to look. We're more powerful than what PS5 are going to be. And it was just looking like a straight up squash, to use a wrestling term, on PlayStation. It was looking that way. And I was very optimistic. I was like, here we go. Like, after the debacle of Xbox One, when that first came out, PlayStation wiped the floor with Xbox. Wiped the floor. It wasn't even close. It still isn't even close. But I thought, here we go. Microsoft have finally got to win. They finally found a way to win. And then that reveal came along. The console, the PlayStation 5 console, looks amazing. It looks incredible. The design is so sleek, so futuristic. It's so clean. I think it's a really nice, clean design. The controller is unique. The thing I like about the controller the most, and I also did a controller video on YouTube, so if you want to hear my in-depth thoughts on that, go and check that out. The controller is different from the other like if you look at any PlayStation controller, looks the same apart from when they added that little motion thing in the middle. I don't know. Is that what it is? Is that what a motion thing that you kind of tilt and press? Like, it's just a big black thing. Touchpad. That's it. Touchpad. Is that what it is? I don't know. I'm not a PlayStation guy. I don't know. Yeah, so you can tell what a PlayStation controller is just by looking at it. They're all the same. And although this obviously has the same kind of feel to it, it looked different. The fact that it was white to begin with. And that got me excited too, the controller alone. But the console looked amazing. It looks better than the Series X. The Series X is, I get why people say it looks like a fridge. I don't look at it that way, like I said. I like the design of the Series X, but it's basic. It lives up to it puts the box in Xbox, doesn't it, really? Whereas the PlayStation 5 has gone for a unique design, and it separates it from generations, which is key for me, and that's something I'm gonna get into in a minute. And then the games for PlayStation 5 as well. Spider-Man, huge one for me. I love Miles Morales. I think he's a fantastic Spider-Man. And PlayStation get that game, whereas Xbox do not get that game. And Spider-Man is the only game that I ever completed on a PlayStation 4. I've played maybe 4 or 5 games on PlayStation 4. 2 FIFAs, WWE 2K20. Oh my god, what was that game called? Until Dawn? I want to say Until Dawn. Like that little horror game, the interactive story kind of thing. Butterfly Effect. Yeah. And Spider-Man. In fact, actually, no, sorry, I tell a lie. I actually completed Until Dawn. So I completed 2 games on PlayStation 4, but I only played 5. So Spider-Man was one of those games that I completed. And I put so much time into that game in the 2 weeks that it took me to finish it. And it is one of my favorite games ever. You know, the fact that it was a PlayStation exclusive killed me when I, you know, first got wind of it. And the fact that I was able to play it, I feel very lucky that I was able to play it, because I was in a situation where I could. You know, I was kind of locked on a ship playing the PlayStation, the only console that I had available to me, and it just so happened to have Spider-Man with it, which was great. So we played that, we finished it, and it turned out to be one of my favorite games ever. And now there's going to be another Spider-Man game, which was to be expected anyway, and it was going to have Miles Morales in it. Great start. And I'm not going to pretend to know every game's name, because I don't. But there's they did the Resident Evil reveal, and I know that's going to be cross-platform, but they did it at this reveal event. Looks incredible. I didn't even know it was Resident Evil until a little bit into the trailer. Amazing looking game. And they did another one from the guys. Oh my god, it pains me that I don't know what this is. It's like Dishonored, the Dishonored game series. It's by those guys. But the game looks great. I hate that. I do no prep when I do podcasting or these things, so I just wing it. So I don't remember the names. But there's a game by the guys who did Dishonored. There was like a Tokyo Neo game. I think it was like another first-person shooter type thing, which looked really, really good. I'm trying to remember. I mean, there's loads of games at this reveal. And the majority of them made me go, oh my, this could very well entice me into getting this console. And as I said, it was the first time I've been tempted in a very long time to delve back to PlayStation. And really, it was PlayStation going, well, here we are. This is why we haven't revealed anything for such a long time. We're hitting you straight in the face with this reveal. And they did. That was like a boom, oosh, whoa, questioning, whoa, am I getting Microsoft, Sony, It left me with a decision. But I remember talking to a few people on social media, and you know, I was just like, you know, the PlayStation 5 reveal was amazing. It's got me questioning things. However, it's a case of, over to you, Microsoft. Let's see what you guys have got up your sleeve. Because, of course, we didn't have E3 this year, so we were going to get a showcase of some description. And that showcase came about 3 weeks ago, I think it was now. And I was very excited. As an Xbox fan, I was very excited. And this is where we get into, has the Series X fallen at the final hurdle? This is where it all began for me. The Xbox Game Showcase. Now, we knew some of the games that were going to be on this show. We knew we were going to get some Halo Infinite gameplay, potentially. Halo Infinite was definitely going to be on there. Whether we're going to get gameplay or not, I don't know if that was confirmed or not, but we did get that. And maybe another Forza. There was the Fable rumor that's been going on for years. Were we going to get Fable? And there was just a smattering of like other games and stuff. You know, we were going to have a look at Obsidian's new stuff. And stuff that has already been revealed, like Grounded and a little bit of Ori and stuff like that. Yeah. And it started with Halo. That's the selling point for Xbox. You know, Master Chief has been the go-to guy when it comes to Microsoft over the years. In fact, I believe Master Chief on Halo, the series, saved the original Xbox. Without that game, I don't think Xbox could have survived. I think that was the general consensus back then. That was many moons ago. And it is the flagship series. And we go into this showcase starting with Halo. You start it right. Everyone's been buzzing about Halo Infinite, and they want to see some gameplay and see what it looks like with Series X graphics. And look, how does Halo look on the next generation? Well, I'll tell you how it looks on the next generation. It looks pretty piss poor. It was very disappointing. Gameplay-wise, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the gameplay for Halo Infinite. I know a lot of people were kind of, samey, same old. I don't really care. I love Halo. I think it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite game series. So with the gameplay being a little bit samey, don't care. Don't care. Give me what I want. Give me more of the same Halo. I don't really care. I love that they expanded to being a little bit open world. They showed off the map like a little bit into the footage, and we got to see that you had little objectives where you could go off and do your own thing, kind of like what Gears 5 did last year when they kind of made their like the middle portion of the game a little bit open world. So that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to that side of things. But everybody honed in to the graphics. If you haven't heard about this, then you're sleeping under a rock. Like, it got slated. It got absolutely slated, and rightfully so. I remember, like, basically the footage starts. The Master Chief is with some random guy. I don't know who he is, and I think they're crash landing on Halo, and that's essentially it. That's what's happening right at the start. And I was looking at the graphics. I don't really care what was going on. I was just looking at the graphics. Like, I expect to see like the pores on the skin and like individual strands of hair and all that kind of stuff. I've seen this in games already to this point, so I expected this to be refined for Series X. I didn't see any of that. I was disappointed. And bearing in mind, this was a cutscene segment as well. This wasn't even the gameplay footage. So I was like, oh, that doesn't look great. But maybe when we get into the game, things will look a little bit better. They did not. They did not look better. It was more of the same. And as the gameplay trailer went on, they got to like an end bit where the Master Chief goes up an elevator. And as he's going up the elevator, the camera, of course, whoever's playing it has been told, right, pan and get the landscape, make it look beautiful. So you can see the camera just panning around, looking around. And the frame rate is dropping left, right, and center. Like everywhere. So it's like, boom, gone. Oh, there we go. Like the drawing distance is awful. And for that to be your showcase piece at this event is poor. And I nearly said Bungie then. 343. And I think somebody from Xbox Game Studios as well, or Microsoft, they jumped to the defense here and were just like, look, this is this is gameplay, in alpha or beta or whatever it is. This is obviously it's not finished footage, which I don't expect it to be at this point. It needs to be near completion because, well, we'll get into this in a minute, but at the time the game was going to be launching with Xbox Series X, we're not that far away from that. 3 months, in fact. And it just doesn't look close. Let's put this into perspective, okay? Cyberpunk 2077. It looks really, really good. The graphics look incredible. And that was just last gen, or current gen right now. It looks amazing. So there's no excuses whatsoever that Halo Infinite couldn't have followed that same path. This is the game that is launching Xbox Series X. And it looked bad for what the next gen should be. It looked bad. So that's where it started. And then the showcase went a bit down from there, even more so. So we had games that I just didn't care about. The new, again, sorry, I forget the names of these games, but Rare's new games, like a cel-shaded kind of thing, wasn't interested in that. Obsidian Survivor game, Grounded, don't care about that. Their new RPG that they've got coming out And again, I forget the name. Actually looks really good. But that's not coming out. That's not coming out at launch. So great. And then there was more. There was a couple of more games. I was like, none of these really tickle my fancy. Forza was revealed. Not a launch title. And it has been a launch title for every Xbox going. Not a launch title this time. And they saved themselves. I say they saved themselves. I still hate the event. But they kind of got some points back at the end with Fable. I know it's not going to be a launch title either, which is a shame. But the fact that there's another Fable coming out, Fable is a tremendous series. One of the best exclusives that Microsoft have to use, and they have Playground Games taken over that, the guys who've been doing Forza Horizon, and Forza Horizon is great, but it's a racing game, so I'm curious to see how they will do in the Fable side of things. But to finish on Fable was great. That was a high. And the cool thing as well from the showcase, because I'm not going to completely piss all over the showcase, because it did have some good bits, Fable. The Halo Infinite gameplay was good. And then I think there was a few games that was kind of like, it looks okay. But I guess the saving grace for all these games, for me, and, countless other people who are subscribed to this service, Game Pass. Every single game that was showed at this event, or shown at this event, is going to be available on Game Pass, which is crazy. If you're subscribed to Xbox Game Pass, all of those games you're going to have access to. You can install the moment they come out. Amazing. Which is, crazy. It's crazy in this world. Crazy that I'm going to have access to all those games. The problem is, I don't really care about a lot of them. That's the problem. So, the Xbox Game Showcase was a major, major disappointment for me. And it doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better than that. They keep that constant level of disappointment going on and on until now. So, what happens next? They reveal. I say they reveal. This has been in the works for a little while. Project xCloud. xCloud, is that what it is? xCloud. Basically, where you can play your favorite Xbox games as part of Game Pass on your mobile phone. So I can pick. Well, actually, here we go. So if this was an Android phone or a Google phone or a I don't know. Is Google Android? I don't know. I don't know. I've been Apple for life. If you have an Android phone or anything that is not this, then you can play xCloud. You can stream games on here and play them. Like, I think you can set up your controller so you can play on your screen, on your mobile phone screen, anywhere, anytime. Like, it's an amazing service. It's all part of Game Pass Ultimate. And it's crazy that is something that you're now able to do. However, and to be fair, I will put my hands up here. It is not Microsoft's fault on this part. It is not Microsoft's fault. It's actually Apple's fault. They're kind of holding back and saying, look, we need to review games on an individual basis. Yours is kind of like, pow, there's your subscription service, away you go. But why does that work for Netflix? I don't know. They have that on their App Store, so why can't they have this? So Apple are pushing back on this xCloud being available on Apple phones, which is, again, it's not Microsoft's fault, but it's not good. It's not good. And things get even worse. As time goes on, things get even worse. So we talked about Halo. Halo Infinite, launch title. Launch title for so long. Everyone's going, right, Halo Infinite, it's coming out at launch. It'll be available the day Xbox Series X drops. That is no longer the case because Halo Infinite, has been delayed. Which, I don't know, was the writing on the wall with that gameplay showcase at the event? But yeah, it's been delayed till 2021. When in 2021, I don't know, but it's delayed until 2021. So our biggest launch title is no longer a launch title. So what Series X actually have at launch, I don't even know anymore. Bad. it's not a good look for Microsoft, for Xbox Game Studios, for the guys who are running the whole show. It's not a good look. Your flagship game is not going to be available at launch because it's just not ready. A little bit of kudos goes to 343 for having the guts to turn around and go, look, the game is not ready. We're not going to push it out and give you guys a shell of what Halo Infinite should be. So I guess, they deserve a pat on the back for, having the guts to, go to Microsoft and say, this game is not ready. Like, let's not push this out until it's as good as it possibly can be. They kind of went the Cyberpunk route on that one because they've been delayed twice, I believe, just because they want the game to be perfect. And I can't knock them for that. But as far as the Xbox Series X goes, it's a very bad look. So it seems that Microsoft were winning for such a long time, and then we get the PS5 reveal, which was incredible. And then Microsoft have struggled to answer. And it's such a shame. It's such a shame because I think for so many people, Microsoft had the chance to make this a difficult choice for consumers. They could have gone, well, moons ago, PlayStation, were probably the go-to console and could have been in this next generation as well. But Microsoft started off strong, and then we had the reveal. So Microsoft could have come back and gone, right, here we go. These are the games we're getting. You get them at launch, or just shortly after launch, like, this is an incredible console, blah, 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 blah. And we didn't get that. So that's not a good look for Series X either. And this isn't kind of what's happened in the last couple of months with Microsoft. This is just something that, is added on the side for me personally. And, I'm sure, it's probably a gripe for others. The thing I really like about PlayStation 5 over the Xbox is that you can differentiate between generations. And I think that's always key. Nobody wants to buy the same console twice. Nobody wants to do that. And between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, you put those side by side, you know the difference. You go, well, that's a PS4, that's a PS5. Controllers are different, the headsets are different, the console looks different, everything. I'm sure the dashboard and the UI and all that good stuff is probably different as well. But then you look at the Xbox, and this is something that, to be fair, this griped me when it was revealed. The Xbox itself, the console, is... I mean, like I said, I like the design of the Xbox, but it's very simplistic. It's a box. But the controller for the Series X is the Xbox One controller, just with a different D-pad and a share button in the middle. And a share button in the middle, which is great. I don't use share features on Xbox as it is, so that means nothing to me. And a D-pad, you do what you want with it. I don't care. I don't use a D-pad really unless it's like a game that requires inventory or anything like that. So the Series X controller is essentially an Xbox One controller, which is disappointing. And then we're told that the dashboard for the Series X is going to be the same as the one on the Xbox One. So how can we differentiate here between console generations for Xbox? It's a major gripe for me. It really is. If I'm buying a new console for £400-500, like, I want it to be different. I don't want to log in and go, oh yeah, I know this. I want to get used to something. Even if the dashboard was terrible, I want to get used to a new dashboard. I want to see a new dashboard. A controller, I want to feel like a new controller and get to grips with a new controller. I'm not going to be able to do that either. You need to be different. You need to be different between generations. It's a shame that they haven't gone that way. And that they're also, obviously, we know that everything is going to be backwards compatible, not just games, but accessories as well. So, this is an Elite controller here. But that's going to work on a Series X. One of my normal controllers is going to work on a Series X, you know, and I get that that's pretty cool because then you'll have loads of controllers, but I don't think that's what a generation jump should be about. You know, there was a reason why I couldn't play 360 game, use my 360 controller on an Xbox One, and I didn't mind. I didn't mind because it's a different generation. I don't expect it to be the case. And it's just a shame. I don't know. It bothers me a little bit. Maybe it bothers me more than it should, but it does bother me. But I do think that Microsoft and Xbox Series X specifically has fallen at the final hurdle. There is still time. There is still time. We have until November when the Series X drops. I haven't had a price reveal yet either. So there is time for Microsoft to sort things out. I believe there's going to be another kind of games showcase kind of thing this month, in fact, for Xbox. I think. I might be wrong on that, but I'm sure I read that on IGN. So if that's the case, they have a second chance to really sell this console, because at the moment I don't think they're doing that. You can sell this thing as the most powerful console ever. Better specs than PlayStation. Great. But at the end of the day, it's all about the games. It's all about how things feel. And I just think PlayStation has Series X pipped at this point in time. I'm still going to get, despite all of that, I'm still going to get an Xbox because it's just something that I'm used to. It's something I'm familiar with, and because there is no generational difference between the consoles, it means I am going to be used to it, you know. And I like familiarity. But I was tempted to get that PlayStation. I really was, but because I'm so loyal to Xbox and because I'm going for the Series X, I just feel let down a little bit by Microsoft that they're just not doing enough to bring people in. You know, either satisfy who they've got or bring new people in. I just don't think they're doing that at the moment. But like I said, they do have time. They do have time. But I think Series X is going to fall that final hurdle. I really do, and it's a shame. It is a shame. I don't know what launch is going to look like. I don't know what launch titles they're going to have. God, I feel so disappointed. So disappointed. But it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see how things go when the console comes out. But if there is this little games thing coming out this month and they show some new games, even if it's games that are cross-platform, like I want Xbox to be able to go, yeah, we're having that. Like PlayStation, they revealed the new Resident Evil. Yeah, we're giving you Resident Evil. You know, I want Microsoft to have an opportunity to do that with another game. It's a watch this space kind of situation. But let me know what you guys think of Series X. If you're a PlayStation person and you've always been PlayStation through and through, like honest thought, no trolling or anything like that. Honest thoughts on where you feel the Series X and where it's kind of at, and how you feel the PS5 is superior. If you are going to be going down the Xbox route, how do you feel? How do you feel about how Microsoft have gone so far with this next gen offering from Xbox? Shout out in the comments on here. And if you're listening to this in podcast form, then head to my episode tweet or come on to the YouTube channel and comment on the video there as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But it's such a sad time. It's such a sad time. But you know, I'm the sucker that's going to end up spending 500 quid on this new console. So I guess when it's all said and done, Microsoft still win. Now, I wanted to close this episode out with something fun. And who doesn't like nostalgia? I'm somebody that lives for nostalgia. I will seek things out that I haven't seen for years just so I can go, oh wow, oh, amazing. And then get that nice little goosebumps on your arms. Like you just feel your body go, ooh, yeah. Like I don't even know what the hell was that. Ooh, yeah. And something that does that for me are console startup screens. There's a lot of console startup screens, and I found it really hard to narrow it down. I'd said this in my preview notes over on social media on Twitter at Project Dits. I said I was going to give you my favorite startup screen. Excuse me. And it was tough. It was tough to narrow this down. I went from everything. I went all the way back to the old Nintendo systems, Atari. I've looked a lot on YouTube over the last couple of days at these startup screens. A great time. I had a great time doing it. A lot of nostalgia, a lot of goosebumps. But I narrowed it down to two. And I've been going back and forth over these two. And I just couldn't pick one. Until today, when I listened to it, before I started recording for the final time, I listened to the one that is my favorite. I was like, no, that is it. That is the one. And I'll go into why when I drop it. But I want to give some love to the runner-up. Because the runner-up is very well known, in fact, actually. It's become a meme in recent times. And I don't know, there was just something about starting up this console and hearing this nice little tune play, and then boom, and then in we go. Let's play some games. Let's have a fun time. It is the GameCube startup screen. See? How nice was that? Of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, you got to see it. But I can guarantee if you are listening to this audio only, that you would have visualized that exact startup screen, which just shows how powerful it is or how much you like memes. But the GameCube is a great console. And before we move on to the actual my actual favorite startup screen, I just want to give some love to the GameCube. In fact, actually, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to go off on a tangent and we could be here for hours. I will say this to you now. I will make a promise to you right now. I will do a GameCube episode of Dits on Gaming at some point in the near future. Maybe there's like an anniversary coming up for the console. Maybe. I don't know. I'll have to have a look into it. But I want to give some love to the GameCube because I love the GameCube. I think it's one of the most underrated consoles ever. You know, it was a tiny little box. It had those tiny little discs, those cute little discs. And it had some amazing games on there. So it deserves some love. And I will give it some love one day. But that's another time. This, and I think many of you will go, yeah, same here. This is my favorite startup screen. See, the PS1 startup screen just gets me on so many levels. I started with Sega Saturn, as I've said, but PlayStation is where I really got into games. Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy, Crash Bandicoot, Ridge Racer, Resident Evil, so many different games. I was in love with that console. And hearing that every single time. I could listen to that on a loop 100 times. Every single time it'll make me go, whoa. It'll give me that really incredible nostalgic feeling. And I felt that today when I was doing the startup. I was like, oh my God, amazing stuff. And that is why it's my favorite. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching this or listening that will agree with me on that one. Such an amazing, amazing startup screen for a console. And I think startup screens have kind of lost their magic in recent years. You know, they've become very simplistic. I mean, earlier on in the show, you saw the Xbox Series X one, which, you know, is nice, dazzling, clean. But it wasn't a PS1 type startup screen. It wasn't a GameCube type startup screen, was it? It's just very like, bleh, bleh. There you go. But that's the start. I just wanted to end on a I can't even speak, on a nostalgic note, something that you guys will enjoy. And I think actually going forward, I will probably do a startup screen from other stuff as the episodes go on, because I love startup screens. Let's just do startup screens. Let's finish every episode with startup screens. Let's just do that. It's kind of backwards, really. It should be at the start of the episode. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I'm not going to be saying, "Oh, this is what's coming up on the on the show now." So maybe that could be our startup screen stuff. We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But guys, that episode 1 is in the bag. The relaunch is in the bag. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It was kind of me moaning, really, but going forward, we're going to have a lot more fun stuff. It's not going to be me dripping about why Series X is a total disappointment at this point. You're not going to get it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be nostalgia. We're going to talk about everything to do with games. And I'm just glad that you guys have joined me for episode 1, either on YouTube or on podcast form. Either way, thank you very much for listening to this episode. Follow me on social media at Project Dits. We have wrestling content on there, of course, and now Dits on Gaming. Guest podcasts will be popping up from time to time, and soon to be announced shows as well are going to be joining Project Dits from me. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel for more of this stuff. Live streams every week, wrestling content, gaming content. About to drop Pocket Morty's, a playthrough of that game very, very soon, so look out for that. Just get amongst it. Get amongst all the content. Like, subscribe on Apple, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, all that good stuff. It's very, very much appreciated. But until episode 2 of Dits on Gaming, which will drop next Saturday, game on.